Good evening, and if you're just tuning in on this Monday, July the 4th, 2022, you are listening to the Angel Rock Live on United Public Radio Network, brought to you out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Happy July the 4th, Independence Day to all our fellow American friends. I am Canadian. We just had Canada Day on July the 1st, so happy Canada Day to fellow Canadians and any of those that are celebrating um, these momentous 2 days in July around the world. If you've never been to the Angel Rock before, welcome. And if you're returning, thanks for tuning in again. A little bit about myself. I am a Canadian clairvoyant medium. I'm also a crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, a spiritual teacher and mentor, and I'm also a registered nurse. And I may not have told you my name, and I apologize if I haven't. My name is Lorilei Potvin. And I don't know who we're going to have here live tonight, but I purposely didn't book a guest with, we have many Americans. Well, we have people from all over the world, but I figured a lot of people are probably out celebrating this tonight. It's kind of been a long weekend across North America, but I thought let's have a hangout tonight and see where we go with things. I did put out there, I asked for people to share some of their stories of the paranormal, the strange, the unexplained, and what have you. We'll see what happens, who tunes in, who wants to share with us. I have some stories and things I'm going to share with you. So let's get started with that. I will remind you, if you are listening to the show, feel free, but if you want to watch the show, come on over to the UFO Paranormal Radio YouTube channel. We're also broadcasting on UFO Gods and Extraterrestrials, our second channel. We have a third channel. I believe it's called Independent Radio, but I don't think we're streaming there this evening. We are streaming to my YouTube channel, which is The Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin, and there's many places on Facebook, I believe, mostly Joe Montaldo's pages. Want to give him a huge shout out. He is the owner of UPRN and has many great programs himself here on this network, which is a wonderful place to be. I'm quickly coming up to my third anniversary here on this network, and I absolutely love being here and hope to be here for many more years in the future. So, before we get into the paranormal, I will tell you a little bit about my show. If you've never watched The Angel Rock, I say I cover all aspects of the esoteric and paranormal, a little bit of truth seeking, I'll say, thrown in there. But the guests that I have on my show are from all over the world and they come from all walks of life. And the activities they are doing, either professionally or extracurricularly, they're making a positive change for humanity. Now, for those of you, I guess you would consider me, all the titles I introduce myself with in a nutshell would be a light worker. But being a light worker, and I don't find too many people in this field, there are some, I'm very well versed in the paranormal. And that's actually how I discovered the gifts that I have through living in our own extremely haunted house over, well, it's been almost 3 years since we moved there, but we lived there for 11 plus years. I say we because my partner or partner in crime, common law hubby, has a show on the network here, The Dell, on Thursday nights with the delicious recipe. And yeah, we lived through quite the story. And if you've joined me before, you know we've shared our story on the international TV show through the Travel Channel, Paranormal Survivor. It was in season 4, episode 9. Demonic hauntings. Now, I did put a video out earlier this week. That's why I usually don't post my banner till a couple hours before the show, even up to an hour before, because people are busy, people are doing things and they forget. But asking if people had stories of the paranormal, if you will. There's one story I'm going to talk about tonight that I have been following on YouTube. I discovered it through one of my favorite paranormal channels, which is Nuke's Top 5. Now, he's been a little, I'll say unscheduled with his uploading of videos as of recent. I believe he has a family member that's ill, so he tries to get them up as much as he can. Used to be quite regular every week. But why I like his channel is he's a skeptic, I believe. He never tells you what to believe. One of his taglines is, I leave it up to you. Is it all an elaborate hoax? You decide. But people send all kinds of video clips Some are unintentional, some intentional. Some people have found around the interwebs and not able to pin down who's put them out there. But he shares them with you, tells you the details behind the story, and then leaves it up to you to whether you want to research it, follow it, or go further with it. Now, there's this couple in the UK by the name of Lee and Stacy. They have a channel here on YouTube called Really Haunted. And a couple of their videos have been featured on Nuke's Top 5. That's how I found it. Now, I've written Lee a few times. I don't know how good he is about going through his emails. I'm sure he's got more than enough on his hands with what's going on in his home. But as much as I can tell from the research I've done, it sounds like he was always interested in the paranormal. And living over in Europe, it's much easier to travel all across, if we will, the pond, say, than rather than coming from North America. And I believe him and his wife took a trip to Romania. And I believe in one of his videos, now I'm not sure what they took back from Romania, but they took something back. I believe it may have been a doll. And basically, all hell broke loose in his home. That he uploads usually every day, every couple days, and he has SLS cameras up around his home. For people that don't know what those are, there are cameras which I believe do show paranormal activity. They're kind of from the old PlayStation Connect, where you get the stick figures if you're playing the game. And I find a lot of paranormal investigators are using these to show the presence of energy, if you will, or a spirit, where you may not necessarily feel or sense it, but you can pretty well track it. I've seen some interaction with supposed spirits on these cameras, asking them to wave. Could they jump? Could they come closer? Could you hold my hand? And whatnot. So he does have SLS. Like I said, he has cameras up all around his home. And this family is going through hell. Some of the video I have seen, they've got Alexa set up, which is like Siri or voice activated phenomena, I guess, equipment set up through the internet. You can ask it to do something. If you've not heard of it, I'm sure most people have. And it will comply. It say as turn on the lights, ask it a question, it'll search the internet for you and what have you. What this entity has started doing is using Alexa to communicate with this family. But as the story goes, he keeps asking this entity what its name is and what it wants, and all it keeps repeating is that it's Vlad. It then says, you killed her, you have my wife. He's given the name Anastasia or Anastasia, and he keeps threatening to kill Lee, the husband of the family. And through some of the history, it sounds like Lee has tried many things to get rid of this. He has tried ignoring it. I believe he's been in contact with many psychics and mediums across Europe. Now he's now, it seems, going to prayers, playing exorcism prayers or prayers when this happens. But some of this phenomena is incredible to watch. I don't believe it's faked. I'll leave that up to you to decide what you think. But for example, one of the videos I seen on Nuke's Top 5, him and his wife were asleep in the bed, and their two dogs were in the bed with them, and you can see the dogs are seeing something around the room and they're crying, and all of a sudden his wife is completely yanked by the feet out of the bed. They've been sleeping, and you will see before he had the SLS cameras, and I am always leery about saying the word orb because there's quite a bit of phenomena you have to consider, I believe, before you would call something an orb. But you will see something dark moving around on the camera, settles before the, say, the nightstand by the bed, and next thing you know, the nightstand goes flying. Everything goes flying off the nightstand. Lee recently, I believe it was 2 days ago, some of the videos he posted, I believe he put watch as ghost yanks me off the couch. Now, I don't know if I would call it a yank, but you do see this black mist materialize. He's sleeping on the couch, and as he's laying there, he gets a little restless. You can tell he's sleeping, and next thing you know, he just slowly slides off the couch and ends up on the floor. He has caught some incredible stuff, though. It looks like it's sort of a long, narrow house, and the way the cameras are set up, it's where the couch is and you can watch TV, but in the back room, it looks like there's a sliding glass door with curtains. And he wasn't even there. This was caught on camera overnight. There's all these flashing lights and something materializes. So I'm getting goosebumps as I tell you. This large black figure starts to materialize. The SLS camera seems to pick up quite a few different entities, if you will, stick figures of different sizes. But the thing that it seems is happening in this home, never mind the threats and the attacks and what have you. One night he had continuous banging, because this is what happens, is just knock, 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 knock incessantly for hours. And he hasn't had a full night's sleep and God, it sounds like eons, because he's constantly being woken up or disturbed by this spirit. And it will mock him with Alexa by going tee-hee, 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 just over and over and over and over. It'll laugh at him. It's some of the stuff he says that he has gotten through the Alexa is it's almost like this entity is trying to convince Lee that he's Vlad the Impaler. Now, he doesn't believe that, but it does keep mentioning dragon, a few words, but it will never answer much more than that for questions. Like, it just mocks them. But lots of stuff is moved on camera when you've been there while he's talking to the camera. You can see stuff. He believes there's a portal in his home and he knows where the portal is. I've actually seen footage of he's had a table set up before the portal, and it's in Italian. I believe it's an exorcism prayer playing. He's got a crucifix bust by a bishop, I believe. There's holy water, all kinds of things. I've seen the crucifix fly right off the table and on the floor. So it's quite the story. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. And I think my heart really went out to him a couple videos ago, because he said, we hear from people all the time that they would love to experience paranormal activity like this. They think it would be so cool and so wonderful. He said, when we finally get rid of this, and we will, he said, I don't think I'll ever delve into the paranormal again. There is nothing cool or exciting or wonderful about this. And I have to say, I have to concur. Now, we weren't looking for the paranormal. We still have no idea why or what started in our home that did. But to live through that, and I've met many people in the paranormal field who have never had, say, a physical encounter with something paranormal, and they think it would be so cool and wonderful and amazing. Believe me, it is not cool or wonderful or amazing. It can tear your whole family apart. Now, the entity that showed itself to me in a dream about 15, 16 years ago, when all the activity began at my house, and that dream feels like it happened 10 minutes ago. There's very specific details, things I can still see the whole thing. And this entity that was at our home told me it was demonic, told me its name, spelt it for me, and told me its animal form, and it tried to get me to agree to follow it. In no uncertain terms did I agree to that, nor would I. But when you're bending down in your fridge, like Dell was at 3 in the morning, as he said, looking for the mustard, and the next thing he knows, he finds himself 15 feet across in our old home, slammed into the cupboards, and his arms all cut up. He didn't even tell me for 2 days, because even to this day, Dell still has to debunk everything before he'll say it's paranormal. He had his electrical equipment out, testing the fridge to see if he had gotten shocked or what had happened. But the really strange part was, and he says he did not see this fly out of the fridge. He said as he hit the cupboards, as he was being thrown from the fridge, when he stood up and turned around, the mustard was on the counter behind him. So it's things like that. You're dealing with things that you can't touch, you can't see. You can definitely smell them, let me tell you that. But I've tried to explain to people that when you're dealing with something this powerful and negative, it doesn't do what you tell it to do, because that's where I find a lot of people are very mistaken. Well, you just tell it to leave, because I've met so many people that have said to me, well, you have dominion, and we do. And for many of the spirits that are here, and you're having a problem with, you can tell them that no, you're not welcome here, you need to leave, or what have you. But when you're dealing with something you can't see, and you're not getting the sleep that you need, so it's wearing you down, it attacks your health, it attacks your finances. In our case, it was our whole neighborhood. Looked like they had had a complete change of personality. I couldn't believe what had happened. It's things like that, or you'll see clips of people with paranormal activity that will say, their children are being affected, because I believe most, especially young children, can see all spirit without any problem whatsoever, just as most animals, I believe, can see it. And I've heard people say, you don't go after my child, you come after me. Well, that's just an invitation. You've just told them, never mind that it's not too hard to surmise that your child would be a weak spot for you. They now know you. This entity will know it's gotten to you, and it becomes worse. They don't listen to you. You have, if you get somebody in, and I know people that can do this and are very gifted at it, that they can go in and deal with these kind of things. They've done years of research. They've had years and years of experience. Um, and I have great belief in people like that. But for the everyday normal person that's dealing with this, and then again, it's so isolating, because it's not like you can go up to somebody while you're in line, say at the grocery store, and start talking about what's going on at your home. It's almost like it's a great secret. The other thing I found about the paranormal that's really interesting, though, is once that conversation is opened, say you're in a group chat or you're in a group and somebody is brave enough to bring something up, all of a sudden you start to realize how many people have had experiences with unexplained, strange activity. And you realize you're not the only one. Now, TV shows are a blessing, but I also think they're a bit of a curse when it comes to the paranormal, because they've made it more mainstream. But you get a lot of people thinking that so-called reality TV is reality. It's not. And the other thing is, I get a lot of people coming to me about that. It's usually young man in his late teens to early 20s, maybe a little bit of a loner and wanting to fit in, and starts going to some of these famous places that they see on TV. And I have had people that have taken something from one of these places because they have no training. They have no idea what they're doing. They're just emulating what they're seeing on TV. They may challenge what's there. And then they come home and all heck breaks loose in their home, and they can't understand what went wrong. So it's so important for people. Anybody can do this kind of stuff, but I believe, as with anything, we need training with it. If you're in a city that has a team, contact them. Say, are you looking for a new member? You'd like to learn more about this. You're very curious about it. You've always wanted to be a part of this, because everything on this planet is energy. And as we know, one of the laws of physics with energy is it cannot be created nor destroyed, but it can be transferred from one place to another. So when it comes to energy, one of the things we need to do is we need to know how to protect our energy when we go into places. And the other thing I want to point out, not everything is demonic, because that's another thing that drives me crazy about TV. Everything is demonic on these shows, everything. And every place they go to, they have activity. And if they don't have activity, then the person's making it up. That's not true. And especially when you've got, say, earthbound spirits here, and there's many reasons why we may have an earthbound spirit. We may have an earthbound spirit, maybe they've taken their life, and because of religious dogma and belief, they're afraid to cross over of what may be awaiting them, because they believe that they've sinned, if you will. Or a lot of times too, I've seen people that have passed very quickly and very tragically and have no idea that they passed away. And I've used this example on the show before, as well as many other times when I've talked about the paranormal. Let's put ourselves in that person's spot. Maybe we don't realize that we've passed away. And so we go back to our home. But as we're walking down the street, we start realizing people can't hear us, people can't see us. We have no idea what's going on. And then you're just living your life in your home. And all of a sudden, these strangers walk into your home and start moving in, start moving all their stuff in. They can't hear you, they can't see you. So you might be doing a few things to let them know, like, hey, this is my house. You don't belong here. But then they start renovating, they start ripping stuff apart. What are you going to do to make your presence known when something can't see you or hear you, to get them to stop when you believe that some stranger is moving into your home? There's other reasons I have seen. Some people, it's revenge. They're not going to cross over until they make the person pay for whatever it may be. Sometimes it's materialistic. They just love life here. They don't want to leave this life. They don't want to leave behind what they left, with passing away. There's all kinds of reasons. So the majority of this is not demonic. I believe demonic can be more rare than anything. You can get poltergeist activity. There's all different kinds of things. And I don't even think we've scratched the surface, because I always say, and I believe this, I don't think any of us will know the answers until we transition back home, or if you call it going to heaven, leaving this earth, whatever you want to call it. But until we've lived this lifetime here that we've lived, and then we get back amongst, because I believe we live forever. No, I'm not forcing my beliefs on other people, but I believe we have had thousands and thousands of lives, and we will continue to have more lives. I believe the purpose is that for whatever we set forth for this particular lifetime, say that we're all living right now, we're here for a reason, and we've chosen life experiences that will help grow and evolve our souls. And we have the choice here to screw it all up if we want. I seem to be hearing more and more and more, and I think I agree with this, that Earth is really a school. It's one of the most difficult places to incarnate into. We come in with, most of us, with spiritual amnesia, meaning we don't remember our past lives or who we really are as a soul or where we've come from. And as a soul, our energy, I mean, we're capable of telepathy, we're capable of all kinds of things. But then we incarnate into this fragile, heavy, dense body. This place is a place of duality. So, whatever there is in the way of good, if you will, there's an opposite that's not so good. There's light, there's dark, there's hot, there's cold. So, I think it's a very difficult place to incarnate. And then, connecting with spirit on the other side, as well as with a lot of research. There are a lot of souls that are waiting to incarnate into this lifetime on this planet. There's a waiting list, I understand. Don't know how that works. It's just some of the words that have been used. So in a way, if you think about it, kind of makes you realize how lucky you are to be here right now that you are, right? So maybe a strange way to look at it. I was doing some research too, because I wanted to see what's been going on in the world. What are some of the strange and unusual things people have been seeing? Over the last 2 years, the world has been in quite a quandary, and I will say that not very lightly. We've seen more division, more sadness, more depression, all these low vibrational emotions and energies in the last 2 years, particularly fear. And when we get into lower vibrational emotions or energies, as simply as I can put it, that is food for anything that is negative. That is exactly what they want. Like, again, going back a few minutes ago to Lee and his poor wife Stacy and their kids and family that are going through what they're going through. Not being able to sleep all night long, and so walking around exhausted all day long, then dealing with all of this, the physical attacks, I'm sure even the energy in the home must be so heavy that it just physically drains you. And once it drains you and we don't have our usual energy, physically, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, it can make us a real target for things like what this poor family is going through that I shared with you. Like I think I started to say, I did reach out to Lee, and I'm hoping one of these days to be able to get a hold of him. I would love to have him on our show and hear more about his story out of his mouth, because that's what the show really is about, sharing people's stories. And you know, that's what I love about doing this and talking to people, is hearing, say you've written a book. Well, what are your experiences that have given you the opportunity, if you will, or the impetus to write the book that you have, and so on and so forth. We've had many interesting people on this show, and I continue to hope that we do. So, now speaking of energy, and I'm going to get into some of the research that I've done too with some of the strange things I've seen. I haven't forgotten that, but excuse me for a minute. I've been surprised about how many people I have run into that don't know what CERN is. C as in cat, ERN as in Nancy. If you don't know what it is, it's a large scientific place, I'll say, in Switzerland. It's got quite a bit of information and history, including their so-called mascot statue on the front yard, in the front yard of CERN. It's massive. Check it out. I encourage you to look up the opening of the tunnel to CERN. I believe that was probably about 5 to 7 years ago. That is one of the strangest opening ceremonies I think I have ever seen. There's a lot of symbolic stuff that was played out with that opening of the tunnel that I believe we've been seeing come to fruition in the last couple of years. Anyways, they apparently, after 12 years, are going to be firing up their Hadron Collider, and it's supposed to take place July 5th, which is tomorrow. Now, when I looked it up, because apparently they're streaming this live around the world, it looked like it was set to start, and I'm in the Eastern time zone, tomorrow, July the 5th at 10 a.m. Now, I've heard as early as today that they were doing this, but the reason why it's certainly something to look at or do a little bit of research about is this Hadron Collider, with the amount of magnets and what have you. Never mind that apparently between July 4th and July 5th, I was seeing that there's a lot of cosmic stuff going on. I believe with Sirius, there's some kind of portal that's quite strong between the 4th and 5th of July every year. So it's interesting this is being timed when it is to be fired up. And with this Hadron Collider, and again, I'm not a physicist, so I encourage you to look this up. But the amount of energy they are generating with the particles, there's acceleration going on and magnets and what have you, they have never used it at this strength before. Super, super, super powerful. They have no idea what's going to happen. And with that being said, like I said earlier in the show, that energy can't be created nor destroyed, but transferred from one place to another. It's not really been that clear about why they're actually doing this. Like, are they opening up black holes? Are they trying to create a wormhole? Like, what are you doing with this and why? I know if you follow the Schumann resonance, it is through the roof right now too. Very, very high. I've run into all kinds of people physically that are having all kinds of strange, I don't want to say side effects because there's no concrete way to connect the two, but people having very, very strange headaches and sounds in the ears and nausea and feeling just drained, like all kinds of things like that. I actually put a post up on my Facebook profile last week explaining a little bit more about it. So the point is, I guess it's something to keep your eye on. Let's see what happens. Like maybe we're going to have first contact. I don't know. Again, I took a look because somebody had shared with me probably about a week and a half ago and it's going to sound funny, but somebody says there's a guy out there that has come from 2236 that claims to be a time traveler. Now, the funny part about this is, I mean, if you look up time travelers, oh God, you'll be there for hours going through some of these videos. You could watch 2 minutes and you know right away the person's, it's a joke. But this video in particular has, I think, over 100 million views. And the interesting thing is he's starting to mention dates that are coming up very soon in the future. So very quickly, he's going to either be chosen right or wrong. But then when you get into time, right, and you start looking at these things, and I believe in this theory that there are multiple dimensions, there are multiple timelines. Who's to say that maybe they really weren't from the future? And that what they're sharing with us is just from an alternative timeline they came from. I don't know. Hard to say, right? So it's certainly interesting to see what's going to happen in the next couple days. So I guess we'll keep our eye on it. But the reason I mention him is I believe he was talking about things like first contact was going to happen this year with ETs. I believe he gave a specific month and date, if I'm not mistaken. So it'd be interesting to see. And I'd seen that with a few things because I was looking for the video to share to somebody. We were talking about it. They said, "Oh, can you share the video?" So I did, but it took me a little bit to find it. And I noticed there were a few people saying this that claimed to be time travelers. Now, could they be just copying everybody else's videos? So true. And again, I'm not saying time travel exists. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. What I'm saying is, could it exist? I believe it does. You start looking up at things like the Philadelphia experiment and things like that, the Boys of Berlin, that movie. There's all kinds of things. Anything's possible. As I always say, we, the inhabitants, the useless eaters, as depending on who you're talking to, we're called. I don't call us that, by the way. We will be the last to know. So, who knows? I guess we'll just have to see. Now, wouldn't that be interesting if we actually did have first contact? Would we actually hear about it? Because I've had him on my show. I've been just thinking about him, Dan Willis, and I need to have him back on. He was one of a handful of scientists back on, I believe it was May the 6th, 2002, that him and a bunch of scientists testified. I believe it was at I want to say New York Press Club. And all the world media was supposed to be there. It was supposed to be one of the most incredible live broadcast, or not live broadcasts, but broadcasts that were filmed, because all of these scientists testified before Congress to the existence of 56 different types of extraterrestrials. Now, they all came with proof, or what they had seen, or what they had witnessed. And as Dan has shared on my show before, that what ended up happening was, if a news broadcast even carried it, it was like at the end of the news broadcast with a bunch of giggling and chuckles. Basically, some people believe that aliens exist, and it was like 15 seconds and a lot of fun was made of it. So who knows? I even took a look today to see, what are people witnessing and experiencing around the world that's strange and unexplainable? I definitely seen some interesting pictures, but the sad part is, with the way, technology has gone with video and photo editing, and to the fact that you can even use somebody's voice and make it look like somebody on video is speaking. I believe you got to keep an open mind, because somebody could have just photoshopped it. Like, there was one photo in particular, I'll try and post on Facebook below this. Now, to me, when I see it, I think this has got to be photoshopped. But the story behind it was that a neighbor took this through the fence, and there's this completely bald, hairless, white, human-looking face being, very rounded, almost looks like Gudetama, if you will, but white, and limbs. I believe he's like an egg shape from Japan. And he's got a muzzle on. I don't know if he bites. and the legs, he's on all fours. He's just like this round white blob, and his legs go up into points, like there's almost no feet. And the hands have these long, long claws. And I mean, like I said, I'm also a nurse. And no, just because I'm a nurse, I don't see everything out there. But I don't know, all the years I've done research and professionally as well as personally, I don't think I've ever seen a being look like this before. It was certainly interesting. Now, some of the things we are seeing, though, and it was really interesting. One of the videos I was looking at, I think it was a top 10 or top 20 list, and it was these boys shooting off fireworks July the 4th. I don't know if it was last year or a couple of years before. It was like older teenage boys. And all of a sudden, you hear this blood curdling, screechy scream, and they stop and they're like, "What was that?" And one of them, the braver of the two, keeps going, "Let's go see what that is." And the other one's going, "No, dude, no, dude, let's just pack up and go. Let's just pack up and go." Well, this kid keeps going as the streams start getting closer. And again, it's what many people that are professionals in video will say, it's potato quality. These videos usually are. In the background, you can see this completely, I guess, naked, you would call it, no hair, with super long limbs and legs, and it's got glowing eyes, and it's screaming, and then it starts to chase them. And I believe they got away, or we wouldn't have seen the video. But was it real? I don't know. These two boys look pretty darn scared to me. If they were acting, they're pretty good actors, that's for sure. And then how many of you guys remember the phenomena with the clowns? I can't tell you how many videos I saw for a while there. You get these creepy, creepy, creepy clowns going up to doorbell cameras and just standing there and going, looking in. If you're listening, I cocked my head sideways and just staring at the camera. That was creepy. There was another one that made news, and I think it's had tens of millions of views, and it was caught off a doorbell camera. And it's in a really small town. I want to say Pennsylvania. And the lady woke up in the morning and checked her doorbell cam because it said I guess it had alarmed her that it had started recording. This thing, I have no idea what it is, and it's toddling down the driveway. In one of the videos I saw with this, because it was mentioned numerous times, it says the mystery of Dobby solved. And for those of you that are Harry Potter fans, Dobby was the house elf. And I have to say, it kind of looked like Dobby from the back. Even the way it walked, it looked taller. And nobody has any idea what this was or where it came from. They even interviewed the woman. But that's an interesting thing with doorbell cams, isn't it? Right? Because most of us are sleeping during the night. And that's when these things seem to get caught on camera. And people are catching more and more things on their doorbell cameras that you otherwise would have had no idea about. Now, there is one thing I do want to point out, though. A friend of mine, Seraphine Hurley, and she's absolutely right. We used to do a show together on this network on Tuesday nights, Infinite Inquisition. But she's absolutely right about this, that so many things happen in the daytime. Paranormal activity just doesn't happen at night. It's just, I think we feel safer, we're busier, there's more activity going on, and we don't see or hear or notice as compared to when all the lights are off and it's quiet and everybody's asleep. We hear every noise. If something makes a little bit of light or movement, we're going to see or hear it. And the other thing is, and I've had this conversation with many people on air and off air, you always hear that 3 a.m. is the witching hour. It's 3 a.m. somewhere in the world. At most times, it's 3 a.m. somewhere in the world. But I do like the explanation that one person, I think it might have been Varla Ventura's good friend of ours, Dell and I, and we have her on quite often on the network. She's an amazing guest and author of the paranormal and the strange and what have you. she said what she sort of felt was, yes, it is 3 a.m. somewhere in the world, but when it's 3 a.m. in that part of the world, that is when the veil is thinnest. Could make sense, I guess it could. But for example, now ever since we've moved into our new home, I love our neighbors, love where we are. We had little bits of activity here and there, but nothing compared to what we had in our other home. And all of a sudden, probably over the last 2 months, some of you have seen my dog, and I don't think she's in here right now, my German Shepherd, Emmy. Um, she's just over puppyhood. She'll be, well, three this month, I think, actually. And, she's pretty well calmed down. She does a few, gets the zoomies once in a while, as I call it, or, when she needs to run around, go for a good run and get her yayas out, as I call it. Anyway, she's pretty calm, and she's my shadow. She follows me everywhere. The other thing I'm going to preface this with, I never thought in all the years I've been with Del that I'd ever have a conversation about fairies, ever. He, like I said, is still very much a skeptic. He's very respectful of what I do, but he's got to debunk it 6 ways to Sundays before he will admit that something potentially could be paranormal or what have you. But for his show, he started talking to people and researching little people. And when I say little people, I am talking about the phenomena mostly with First Nations Aboriginals. We have quite a bit of mainly Ojibwe around where I live here in Thunder Bay, which is right smack dab in the middle of Canada in northwestern Ontario. And if you look it up, you'll see quite a bit of a story about the little people. Nuke's Top 5 has actually had video sent in, I believe it was in Alberta off of one of the reserves, where a family caught a little person on camera peeking out, and you turn the lights off, turn it back on, it would pop back up. Anyways, so we've had some little things going on around here. Like, for example, I think it was Christmas, I bought Dell a new wallet. He's been looking for the old wallet, couldn't find it anywhere. He knew where he put it. The one area in particular he had searched like 5 times. He needs some paperwork from the old wallet. He just went back to it, the same spot, a couple days ago, and there was his wallet sitting right on top of where it should have been. And he had looked in that place at least 5 times before. And we're not talking just in the same day, like for weeks, okay? Excuse me. Anyways, back to Emmy. Emmy has started this crazy activity where she is running frantically around the house, and she is tracking something. You can tell she is tracking something. Her nose is to the ground, and she keeps running over. I have a chair in the living room, and then there's a couch where Dell usually sits. And my chair is right next to the sliding glass doors that go outside. And she keeps going off to the side closest to the window, poking her head in there, sniffing, moving the curtains, and then she'll look at me like, look, mom, it's there, it's there, it's there. Now, she has done this in the last 2 months, probably about 4 or 5 times. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It comes out of nowhere, and it goes on for a good 15 minutes, sometimes to a good half hour, and it's just repetitive. Like, she's chasing something, and she always gets it cornered behind the chair. We have tried putting her outside, thinking, did she smell or scent something outside? She's not having outside. She needs that spot right behind that chair. So this happened not this Sunday, last Sunday. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to start taking some pictures and have a look and see what is she seeing that I'm not seeing. So I did take some pictures. There's some interesting things, I'll say, that show up on the camera. I even pulled back because I could see nothing with the naked eye. The curtains split. I made sure to move the curtains again and to Oh, thanks, Jody. I don't know if you're listening. I just got a message from my friend Jody in Australia. Thanks, Jody. Thanks for sending the message. Anyways, I've even moved the curtains. I rearranged them, making sure there was no light coming through, like we weren't getting a distortion or anything. Meanwhile, Emmy's still running, going back to the spot to show me. you can actually see, almost looks like an eye, and there's a little character there. I'm getting goosebumps as I say that. So, is it a little person? What is it? Now, it was really interesting that one of my friends that is very intuitive and has pretty good, pretty powerful gifts. She had said she noticed the eye, and I didn't tell her all this stuff either. I just told her the story of what was going on, and I'd taken some pictures. What did she think? She said she noticed an eye. She thought it looked like a little being. But then the other thing that she picked up, she said, I almost see a little black cat. Now, the really interesting thing is my eldest son lives on his own. He's happily married with his own partner. But when he came over here, when we first moved in, and both my sons have gifts like I do, he said, Mom, do you know there's a little black cat around here? And I said, you mean like in spirit? And he said, yes. He goes, it's definitely here. And he could tell me where he saw it, where he felt it, what have you. So the mystery continues. Is it a shapeshifter? Is it a little black cat in spirit? Or is it maybe a little person or something? I will tell you that energetically, excuse me, I don't pick up anything negative. I more or less feel something that's very mischievous, likes to stir the pot, is literally what I hear right now. Likes to stir the pot, create a little bit of excitement, and then that's it. So I don't know. I guess time will tell. Now, the reason I share this story too is, and many people that have been through an experience like we have or work with the extreme paranormal, when you're dealing with negative entities, they definitely do not forget you. They do not forget you. Doesn't matter where you move, where you live. I don't know if it's more or less, I think really it's your energy. They know what your energy feels like. They know whom you are. And I know especially those that do paranormal investigations, and when they get EVPs or electronic voice phenomena, they will hear their names called on it. For example, even my friend Jason Blend has a wonderful show called Paranormal Soup on YouTube and Facebook. And there were times I used to call into a show every week from the most active part of my house, but I have two recordings in particular that I share quite a bit from Halloween 2017 and 2018. They were live shows, they were unplanned. And when you hear the EVPs that come through there and the names that come through, including Jason's name, in 2018, it actually says Dell's name. There's quite a few things that come through. Now, I didn't plan to call in there. They didn't know I was going to call in. And that's not the first time heard names or what said. So it's certainly interesting. Now, I want to remind you guys, if you're over on Facebook, in particular on my Facebook profile, I can't see your comments and I would love to see them. So please come over and join me on our YouTube channel, which is UFO Paranormal Radio. Or if you go to the UPRN or UFO Paranormal Radio Network Facebook page, I will be able to see your comments because I know there's people out there and I appreciate you guys for being there. I can see that you are by the numbers up on the screen, and I appreciate the likes. Please be sure to share all this, especially if you guys have some stories that you want to share, or maybe there's some strange things that you've experienced. Hi, Kaz. So nice to see you. Thank you for joining me over here. I'd love to hear your stories. I'd love to share them. And because I believe, like I said earlier in the show, that once we start talking about this and we open the door, that we start to realize that although everybody's experience may be unique, that we're not alone with the experiences. Now, I'm not sure what it is about where I live. Like I said, we have a very strong First Nations history where I live in Thunder Bay. if for those of you in North America or in the States, I'm about, you see spirits. Okay. Well, I'd love to hear more about your experience here. If you want to type it, Cause. Or is it Kaz? I can't see with my, I think it's Kaz. Sorry, Kaz. Where I live is about 40 minutes away from the Minnesota border, and we live about 6 hours north of Minneapolis, Minnesota. You have pictures. Well, if you can send them to me on Facebook, I might be able to upload them here. We'll see. Hopefully, I don't get cut off, but I have my laptop close. Or worst comes to worst, what we'll do, Kaz, is if you're comfortable, you can post them in the comments on my Facebook page, or if you're on UPRN, feel free to post them under right here. And I may not be able to see them right now, but people will be able to see it when they watch the broadcast again, or they happen to go to the page where you posted them. And thanks for joining in. So I forget, now I lost my train of thought about what I was talking about. It'll take me a minute here to get back to what I was talking about. Excuse me while I have a drink of coffee. Long story short, anyways, that people are seeing all kinds of things. I was looking up today strange and unusual things on the internet caught in 2022. There was a really interesting video I saw from Russia. Now, again, was it photoshopped? It's hard to say. Excuse me. Well, you should be able to, Kaz, be able to comment. You may not be able to while we're live, but afterwards you can probably make a comment and there'll be the photo icon. You may be able to upload it. If not, feel free to add it under my Facebook profile, Lorilei Potvin. My name's on here, and I know I'm streaming on my profile right now. Like I said, if worst comes to worst, send them to me in Messenger, and I'll make sure to post them for you if you put a little bit of explanation with them. So with this video caught in Russia, it was at nighttime. There, and again, I don't know, something tells me maybe this might be Photoshop, but it's hard to say. There's this guy filming an apartment building, and there's this thing with these long, long spider arms easily scaling up the window or up the building. You can see that it goes into the dark at times, and then it seems to be peering kind of around into windows. I don't know if it was looking for a way in. And as it starts to, say, go from one side of the building to the other, the arms and legs start to stretch like it's able to go around. Now, is it photoshopped? I don't know, because I'm sure many of you in the paranormal have seen these beings. Now, I did not know that they've been caught multiple times on camera, but they have. And it's in the California area. And they look like walking triangles, if you will. There's no upper body or torso. It's just almost like they go into an upside down V with legs and feet, and they're walking. And there's usually a couple of them around. Now, this one particular video I was watching, there was various clips of people catching these beings on camera. Now, the guy that was sharing the story and sharing the top 20 strange things caught on camera said, it's been said that people believe they could possibly be ET or UFO phenomena. I don't know. I don't know what the heck they are. They are strange as all get out. Then, like I said at the beginning of the show, we're broadcasting to you from United Public Radio Network out of New Orleans, Louisiana. There was a newscaster that went to, I believe, one of the most haunted or proposed haunted old homes in the Louisiana area. Hey, Derek White Sky Cloud, welcome. Nice to see you. And what happened was, excuse me, she was doing a report on it looked like it was an older home, probably some type of historical building that they now keep back, like how it was back in the time. But she didn't catch any of this while she was filming, but as she was reviewing the film and doing the editing to put it in for the newscast, she caught something on camera. It looked like this misty type. It didn't take a human form, but it was moving. It was definitely something that was caught on camera, unbeknownst to her at the time when she took it. So there are things happening. I don't know where you are in your neck of the woods, but there's all kinds of strange paranormal activity going on in the way of UFO ET. Now, I maybe it's always been going on, but we just didn't all have camera phones. But some of the things this particular top 20 list was showing, and again, it was in the US, but it was very early morning. It was still dark out, but it sounds like it was from a bigger US city, and it was a traffic report, like live webcam from a helicopter or what have you. Holy crap, what they caught on camera. They literally look like, I don't know how else to describe them. They almost look like cartoon type ghosts. And they were all moving, all lit up and all swirling and moving around. And again, it wasn't something that was planned. They caught this on a traffic cam. I believe they were trying to focus on one of the clocks on one of the skyscraper tower buildings in the city and noticed all this activity right next to it. So, and I'm seeing more and more people talking about strange phenomena that's going on in the sky, strange things that they're catching. So, what is it? Why is this coming out? Why are we seeing this all of a sudden? Again, when I was talking earlier about energy, is it because, excuse me, what's been going on in the world? We've got so much division and argument and, disruption, sadness, depression, all food for things that are lower vibrationally in the way of energy. So is it that being fed and to what's always been out there, and all of a sudden now we're seeing more and more manifestations of it? The other thing that I've always asked the question, and for those of you that are in the chat, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Have you guys noticed, if you're a paranormal investigator or you research this type of phenomena and activity, that depending on where you live geographically, there seems to be certain types of unexplained strange entities that get caught on camera that aren't seen anywhere else in the world? For example, I mean, there's some of the more well-known, like the chupacabra or what have you. This particular video, there was a lot of things that kept catching in Mexico. Again, maybe you might call it the rake or whatever it's been likened to be called. You see a lot of those there. A lot of flying brujas, they're called, or witches. You'll see that. Over in Japan, and China, I can't tell you how many times I have seen video clips of supposed paranormal activity. A lot I've actually seen on Nuke's Top 5 and other channels that has some interesting, I believe that they're serious about paranormal investigation. And it always seems to be a woman in a white gown with long black hair and her head down, right? Or you hear about the woman in white again when we get back to some of the Latin countries, right? Or it just seems like no matter where you go, there seems to be certain pockets of a certain type of entity. Now, my thoughts are that it's a tulpa. So, meaning that collectively people believe in it, one person or two people see it, and their focus turns to that, and more people get drawn into that belief so that it actually manifests. That's basically, if I'm sure you've heard of a tulpa, but if you haven't, is that what it is? Because it just doesn't make sense to me about why you would see these certain pockets of certain types of entities. I mean, we've got the New Jersey Devil. I could go on and on. Now, where I live, that's what I was trying to say when I got distracted. I don't know what it is, but we are a hotbed for paranormal activity. And Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano, who have their amazing show on Wednesdays and Thursday nights here, we were talking Michelle and I believe it was on it, we were on air. It was during one of our paranormal host chats we used to have. And Michelle's been on many TV shows. She's been all around the world. She actually, we didn't know her at the time, but she consulted on our paranormal activity episode. But anyway, she's been through Thunder Bay. And on air, I remember her saying, "Holy crap, yeah, there is a lot of activity in Thunder Bay." For example, last summer, somebody that was their daughter is a friend of my eldest son's, and I know her. I mean, we're not close friends. We're acquaintances. And she sent me this strange picture. I couldn't even understand what the heck it was. And I said, "What is this?" She goes, "You're not going to believe this." She goes, "My neighbor, he's in his 70s. And this was like around supper time. It was on a weekend, I remember. She said he kept smelling this burning smell. And he couldn't figure out where the burning smell was coming from. It was getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So he's looking all around his apartment. He can't find where the smell is coming from. For whatever reason, he opened up his fridge and his eggs were on fire. I kid you not. The picture she sent me was the bottom of the fridge. There was no electrical short. There was nothing like that. But you could see the eggs that had been on fire. Some were missing from the carton because it wasn't a full carton. They were burnt right into the plastic, the indentation of the eggs. So I asked her, "Well, what did he do with the eggs?" She goes, "He threw them out the window." And she said he was so shaken. He said in his 70 plus years, he had never, ever, ever seen or experienced anything like this before. And, I kept saying, "Thank God it was in the daytime." Like, I don't know what could have happened if it was in the middle of the night. And then she proceeded to tell me, now this is a very pretty old apartment building. She said it was on the north side of our city, and they were having all kinds of strange things. Like, she said her and her friend were sitting there one time, and I guess they smoked, and there was a lighter on the table. They literally saw the lighter come up off the table and move all around and then drop to the floor. They'd had all kinds of strange things. Then a friend of mine locally here sent me something. I haven't had a chance to talk to him about this. I did send him a message, but I know he's super busy. He's got a family. He's, working. Now, he has sent me some strange paranormal stuff he has experienced himself, like on video. But he sent me these pictures. He's a mechanic, and I believe he worked at one of the local shipyards here. And he said they were taken by a crane operator working on the same job site. And he said he could see the crane operator stop the crane and start wiping his windshield from the inside. And then he looked. And again, you may be in the chat there. So if I get this wrong, I'm not going to say your name because I didn't ask for permission. But if you are out there, you can correct me if I miss anything with this, the person that sent me the story. But as I understand it, he then leaned out of the crane and started snapping pictures. And it was a blue sky, a few white clouds. But he said, whatever this was, it was massive. It kind of looked like smoke, but it was changing and morphing shape. It was massive. If I'm not mistaken, he said it was the size of two massive, like Boeing 747s or something to this effect. And I did see the pictures. It was changing. It was very noticeable against the blue sky. But the last one is what freaked me out, because the last one, it literally looks like it's standing upright, the shape of it, and you can see through it, through parts of it. But it almost looks like something wearing like a face mask or a helmet, and like it's got an air hose, and then it goes down and it's almost got like a tail. It is the strangest picture I have ever seen. And again, I've got so many questions to ask this person that shared it with me. And I know eventually we'll get a chance to talk about it, but it was like, holy crap. Like, you just saw this, like, and they have no idea where it came from. Now, he is Métis, as my friend Derek White Sky Cloud is. My partner is also Métis. For those who may not understand what Métis is, it is First Nations or Aboriginal, and another nationality usually. But he does practice a lot of the Ojibwe traditions and what have you, the gentleman that sent this to me. So he actually asked me what my thoughts were on this, and did I even think that maybe it was um, the Thunderbird, which is part of First Nations legend and lore. Leave here if I can. Sorry, guys. There we go. There. Now, hopefully, you guys can hear me. Hi, Hi, Starling. I am so sorry about that. I have never had that happen. And I'm thinking, oh, thank God my laptop is right here and I can sign into StreamYard either here or on my phone. Because I heard that all of a sudden I heard this, bzzz, which I've never heard. And then I look up and it's like, no, my phone was in the spinning wheel of death, as I call it on the iPhone. There's Apple. So thank God. And I had StreamYard all ready to go. I'm going to make sure I have it on here just in case. So if something happens in the next little while, don't go anywhere, please, because I'm coming right back. Because I have no idea what just happened there. But that's what I got for talking about the Thunderbird, right? So, um, and like I said, welcome, Starling. It says Starling, Lily, and Rose, Courtney. And I just saw, yeah, there's all kinds of comments I can see on my laptop that I don't get to see on my phone. And I'm so sorry, guys. So, like I said, if you're just joining us, go over, please, to UFO Paranormal Radio on Facebook, or you can come to the YouTube channel under the same name. I'll also see the comments if you go to our secondary channel, which is UFO Gods and Extraterrestrials, because wasn't that just crazy? Wow. Poor Starling, you probably said, is she live? I'm sorry about that. Like I said, I've never had that happen. Thank God I know what I'm doing a little bit with tech because otherwise it would be like, where did she go? Like, why did she not come back? So maybe the Thunderbird didn't like me talking about it. I don't know. I don't think I was being disrespectful. It's okay, boo. So, like I said, if you're just joining us, if you've got some tales of the paranormal or the strange, the unexplained, let me know. Let's talk about it. Or I believe it was, I'm going to go back up, Kaz that said they have some pictures. So I'm hoping, I could turn on Facebook, I guess, and see. Like I said, I have other devices here. I should warn you guys too, if you see me moving around all the time, and I apologize for that, I have a very bad back. That's why I can't work as a registered nurse actively anymore. So I kind of got to move around. So if you see me moving, that's why. It's not because I can't sit still. Well, I guess I can't sit still because I have a sore back. So where was I with things here? Um, yeah, so I watched a lot of paranormal videos today just because I wanted to get a feel for what's out there. Like I said, if you're just joining us at the beginning of the show, I talked about a channel on YouTube called Really Haunted, which they are going through a very horrific time that they're documenting on their channel. You may want to check out. So Starling Lillian Rose says, so I'm new here. What exactly do you do? I have had all sorts of things happen. I don't want to speak out of your expertise. I'm eager to learn and understand. Okay, so well, welcome. I do a live podcast here on United Public Radio Network or UFO Paranormal Radio. My name's Lorilei Potvin. I am a Canadian clairvoyant medium. I'm a crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, a spiritual teacher and mentor, and a registered nurse. And I guess in a nutshell, you call me a light worker. But I have extensive experience with the extreme paranormal, having lived in our own home for 11 plus years with massively extreme paranormal activity that my family experienced as well as other people. We've shared our story on Paranormal Survivor through the Travel Channel. It's season 4, episode 9. It's on, I believe, I know it's on Vimeo. It's also on YouTube. And the episode was called Demonic Hauntings. Now, the only thing I didn't like when they filmed it was when they used the little clicker, it said Lorilai's Demon. And I said, if you're going to call the episode that, we are not filming this. And they told us they wouldn't. But yes, that is what the name of the episode is. And we are very grateful that they shared our story. They interviewed us for 6 hours, but we had no say in what they put in the episode or what they showed. So all I'll say to you is it did not happen the way they showed in the show. And they do reenactments in the show. I am nothing like the woman who portrayed myself. Let's put it that way. The only thing I will say that did happen the way they showed in the show is at the end of the episode, my partner, who's also on this network, the Dell, with the delicious recipe on Thursday nights, he almost died. And after that happened, one of us had to stay awake all night long. So that I hope that gives you a little bit of background. Hi, Cass. You're still here. Good. I'm sorry. Like I said, I don't know what happened. My phone made this buzzing noise as I was talking about paranormal pictures somebody sent to me here locally, and then my phone died. So thank God I have my laptop next to me. So that's why I was frantically trying to get it to load and type, don't go anywhere, and coming right back. So you say you're new here, Starling, and you're eager to learn and understand. So do you have any experience with the paranormal, or what would you like to know? I also do teaching with people because I believe all human beings have intuitive gifts. I believe we are so much more powerful and gifted than we have ever been led to believe. And so I teach people how to, say, balance their energy, how to protect their energy, how to connect with your spirit guides. I can go into your Akashic records. That's not something I do on air. You can't send on here for some reason. Well, Kaz, look, if you're okay with it, Look at my name. I'll spell it for you. It's spelled so strangely, but it's not hard to find me if you spell it right. It's L as in lion, O-R. I wonder if I could write it in here. Oh, I can't. I have to be on one of the pages. So it's Lorilei. And then my last name is P as in Peter, O, T as in Tom, V as in Victor, I, N as in Nancy, Potvin. So you can send me the pictures, and I have a group on Facebook called Paranormal University for all things paranormal. I'll be happy to share them, and I will definitely share your pictures in after the show's done. I know I'll be able to share them. At least I know for sure on my own Facebook page I'll be able to share them. But I need a little bit of context if you're comfortable sharing what happened in these pictures. Like, where did you get them? What was the situation? You don't have to put a whole book about it, but just sort of how you knew there was something strange or unusual going on around you that led you to take pictures. So, Starling, believe I am more powerful than I realize, and I need help understanding what is going on. Well, that's a pretty broad statement, Starling. So it just depends. Like, are you talking about, say, being able to move, like telekinetic, move things with emotion, or that you're picking things up that you don't know why you're picking them up, say from other people? Are you seeing spirits? You know what I mean? Like, it's a pretty big topic, but I've certainly, if you've got some questions, I'm happy to talk about them. And again, just remember, this is my experience and what I know to be true. I always tell people, I'm very honest, whether I'm doing a reading with you or a healing session, that I'm not 100% always correct. I'm not always 100% infallible. I am a human being just like you are. And the one thing I will tell you, and I just heard this repeated, it was on a big podcast. I can't remember what it was, but if somebody tells you that they guarantee you 100% accuracy beyond a shadow of a doubt, I don't care what it is, I would say run, because nobody is 100% perfect, infallible, or incapable of making an error or a mistake, right? That's how we learn. We learn from our mistakes. Same thing is, it's a terrible thing to say, but usually when people, push comes to shove and say they make a massive change in their life or something, it's because of something untoward, maybe sad, could be tragic, no matter what it may be, because we're faced with a choice when something like that happens, right? What do we do with that? We can stay with the negative experience, or we can make a choice. Like, how many things have been, for example, and it's a terrible thing to say, but it does happen. Say somebody's lost a child very tragically, maybe through illness, maybe somebody abducted that child, maybe the child was murdered, right? And the parents have a choice. Neither one is right or wrong. If the person chooses that they're not able to do something with that experience, that's perfectly fine. I mean, grief has no timetable, right? It's personal to each person and experience. But for example, how many incredible foundations or laws or what have been changed because of that horrific experience? Say, and this is just one example that certain parents maybe have gone through, and they've decided they don't ever want to see another set of parents go through something like what they have. And I'm not just talking about parents. I can hear my son in there playing video games. He knows I'm having a podcast, so I apologize if you hear him in the background. But that's what I'm saying. When we're faced with adversity and we're faced with really tragic, awful things that happen, right? That's when we have a choice. Now, can we make changes and have the choice to do something really great for ourselves or other people when things are wonderful and status quo? Absolutely. But then you think back in life, when life has been beautiful and wonderful, say somebody's in a new relationship and the birds are singing and everything just feels amazing. How many of us have been guilty of saying, oh my God, I wish this could go on forever. I never want this to change, right? So you want to keep things exactly how they are. They feel just amazing. When things are crappy or awful, or we're not happy, or no matter what it may be, A lot of people make the decision then that I don't want to live like this anymore. I want to change it. So those are just a few examples of just going on and on about something right now here. I'm waiting to see what if Starling's comfortable sharing which oh here we go. So let me put my glasses on, Starling, sorry, instead of trying to squint at this. Okay. I know things and I don't know why or what to do. I would like to know the past of my family and Indian heritage to see if I've inherited a gift, which I think my dad has kept hidden from me. I have things others cannot see. I dream about alien incidents and more. Several deaths have happened, but I know it's not what others are telling everyone. I know they are either not or whatever the situation is with that person. Well, just as I started to say, Starling, I believe that every single human being has intuitive gifts. Now, I've had this conversation, including with the owner of this network, um, that I love dearly. He's an amazing man, Joe Montaldo, and I'm so grateful for the platform he provides for us and all the other amazing hosts that are on this network. But he doesn't agree with me. But I believe we all have gifts. So, regardless of whether you feel your father has hidden something from you, nobody needs to tell you who you are or what you are. Nobody knows you better than you do. I recently saw something. No, I was talking to someone and they were sort of insinuating that only certain people have gifts when it comes to intuitive gifts. I don't believe that. Because when you look at, say, children, very young children, how many people have you talked to? We've seen videos that we've seen stories that we've seen whatever. That kids with their imaginary friends, are they really an imaginary friend? How many kids can see spirit? How many kids are, I mean, you could look that up right now, and I guarantee you'll find hundreds of videos of little kids sitting there talking to somebody that nobody's there or what have you. Go on, we could do a whole show on this, for example. But I believe from some people maintain it all the way through their lives. Then there are other people, I think the majority, that as they get older and life starts to happen, maybe they tell you that they say a child tells their mother that there's a man in my closet and this is what he's wearing and whatever, but they start getting a little older. They start going to school. Kids start telling them, "Oh, you're silly. There's nothing like that." And maybe the parent tells them, and not to be mean or anything, but says, "Oh, honey, that's just your imagination. You're getting a little bit old for that. You need to let it go." So as we start to get older and we start having what we believe are more adult responsibilities and life happens, we let that part of ourselves go. It's the same as animals. Animals, I always tell people when I'm working with people with the paranormal, I ask them, do you have pets? And if they tell me yes, what is your pet doing? I ask them all the time. Same as if they have young children. Have your children said anything? What have they shared with you? What are they seeing? What are they experiencing? Think about it. Common saying, you're talking to someone and they'll say to you, I'm going to trust my gut on this. I know it. I don't know why I know it, but I feel it in my gut. That's your intuition. We've heard of women's intuition. I don't believe it's just women's intuition. I believe we all have these abilities. And just as I say that sometimes we're born natural born athletes, leaders, mathematicians, athletes, musicians, like I say, does that mean that we can't learn to be good at something else? Absolutely not. So I believe that when these abilities start to become latent, if you will, whatever you want to call it, that when you feel that calling and you feel that urge, that's what you do. Just like some of the questions. Oh, thank you, Manuel Lopez, for the love and light. And back to you, Starling, what I was going to say is, so when you start feeling that calling or you start knowing things that you don't know why you know them, but you know that you know them, what I'm trying to say to you is trust what you are feeling. When you say that you feel like your father has kept it hidden from you, it doesn't matter if your father's kept it hidden from you. You don't need his permission to tell you that you have a gift or you don't, is what I'm trying to say. Nobody knows you best but you. The same thing I say to people all the time, too, whether you believe it or not. they believe in you, in that I believe we are all have an angel or numerous angels with us, guides, family members that have passed on. I have seen far too much evidence, personally as well as professionally, to say that there's not an afterlife. There definitely is. And I think that we go on forever. We really, really do. That right now, each and every one of us that are here are just having a human experience in this lifetime right now. Now, again, these are my perceptions and what I feel working with different mentors and different teachers. You're going to hear different things from other people. And I always say to people, when you're talking with others or you're trying to learn about this, take what resonates with you or feels right to you and leave the rest. I can tell you, when I started this journey almost 20 years ago, I don't have the same belief systems that I did back then. I was only able to accept what I felt at that time that felt right to me. But as I meet more people, as I do more research, working with different mentors, connecting with different people, and starting to connect more with spirit, I get more and more information that, and I do try to keep an open mind. So the first a journey, and I'm not trying to be cliche, starts with the first step. You just put one foot in front of each other. I always encourage people, when you're new at this, to work with different mentors. There's many free resources out there. I do believe meditation is incredible and important for all of us, not just for those of us that are working within this field. CEOs do it, again, professional athletes. 15 minutes of meditation is akin to an hour and a half of sleep. It's so important for us, especially with all the busy lives that we have, to be able to quiet the mind. And then you start to realize all the incredible things that you may have missed while life was busy and your mind was racing. That when you're able to sit in silence, what you might actually be able to hear. I'm just going to read your comments, Danny Lee Bailey. The next time around, better than this time around. And Zenda Bishop. Good morning from Australia. Good morning. It's good evening over here in Ontario, Canada at 7:30. For those of us that are just joining us late, happy July the 4th, or Independence Day, to all our friends in the United States. We just had Canada Day here, July the 1st. So it's kind of a long weekend, or depending on where you live in the world, a bank holiday. No, it's not a holiday here in Canada, but it's kind of a long weekend because we had the holiday on Friday. So thank you for joining us over in Australia. So I did want to just quickly say back to Starling, I hope that might give you a little bit of information or feedback. There's tons of great groups on social media to join, to be able to ask questions. There's great people running courses and teaching all the time out there. There's resources on YouTube and other video platforms where you can find all kinds of information out there. And again, take what feels right to you and leave the rest, because it can be overwhelming. I've always said that when I opened this door to the paranormal, and again, it wasn't by choice. And again, I don't want to call it the paranormal, whether you want to call it spirituality, esotericism, the paranormal, but either way, when you start looking at things that aren't mainstream and looking into alternative belief systems and things that are out there, I always say it feels a gazillion times bigger than what we know to be in the matrix, if you will, the real life, the muggle world, whatever you want to call it. Now, thank you, Manuel. You put 1212121212. And you put 633 in South Dakota, Danny Lee. Now, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your comment there. You said the next time around better than this time around. Now, that could be how you feel, and there's nothing wrong with feeling about that. But, and again, just my perception. But a lot of times, life can be really, 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 really difficult. Feels like everywhere we turn, every door is shut in our face, that nothing ever seems to work out, or what have you. But I also believe, and again, sounds very cliche, that I think it's how you look at the glass, if you will, the proverbial glass. Is the glass half full or is the glass half empty? And then if you do go down this path, no, you don't have to. When you start looking at things, you said life has been bad this time around. And I'm really sorry that life has been bad for you, Danny. I really, really am. I really am. But again, and I don't want to sound heartless because I don't mean it being heartless in any way, shape, or form. But it's what we do with those experiences, right? It's what we do with them. So if life has been really bad and it's been really difficult and it's been really sad, we do have the opportunity to look at it, and there's things to learn from those experiences. Um, excuse me. What do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do with it? How could life be better? And when you have those answers, what could you do to start making that happen? Right? Nobody, everybody's life is, and again, I'm not diminishing what you're sharing here. I want to thank you for your bravery and your courage that you're sharing this here with us. But for example, I'm going to take my life, for example. Everybody thinks my life is wonderful and I run around with unicorn poop and rainbows and clouds and stuff talking to them, or they'll say, you're always so positive. Well, that might be how you feel about that, Danny, if that's how you feel. I can't tell you how to feel and not feel. You said die and be born again. But again, if you're feeling like that, you know, I'm not saying you're telling me what you're planning on doing or how you're doing it, but maybe reach out for some help. Reincarnation is real or it is not. Well, again, a lot of things I've shared here tonight, I've shared that it's my belief system, and I try not to tell people what to believe, but I just feel like from the amount of I've studied near death experiences for 40 years, I believe I had one as a toddler, um, working in palliative care and seeing what people believe and what they experience at the end of life. I'm actually writing a book about that. Um, just what comes through with mediumship, or what we experienced in our previous home. That I don't know what that was. um excuse me. That had to come from somewhere. It wasn't made up, and I can tell you, I've got pictures and video and what have you. Other people have experienced it in our previous home, people that didn't believe in this kind of stuff, that after what happened to them, they never came back to the house. I could tell you that again, but never believed in it. So again, I think it's how we look at life and what we choose to do with it. That's what I was starting to say before I read your comment, Danny, is that people always think that, say, for example, my life is wonderful and amazing, whatever. I didn't put out there. I lost everything in my last home to be able to leave it. I was homeless. I lost everything, everything. But it's what we choose to do with it. And again, yeah, life can suck sometimes. It really can, but it's what we choose to do with it. It's your life. And again, if there's things that you've always wanted to do or experience or whatever it may be, why aren't you able to experience it? What would you need to do to make it happen? If you are feeling depressed and you feel like maybe you're feeling the way you shared here, maybe reach out for some help, get some help, talk to somebody about it. See if maybe there's many things we can do about those kind of things. And I want to thank you for your courage to share how you were feeling here, though, and your beliefs. Hi, Amanda. You said hello. I have a picture of a ghost sitting in my bed by, I think you meant by me, and I'm really freaking out about getting rid of a piano that it's supposedly attached to. Okay, so you're freaking out about getting rid of the piano. Now, what's freaking you out about getting rid of the piano? Or why do you want to get rid of the piano? Because of you feel like there's something attached to it, or is there another reason? Because not everything that has an attachment has to be gotten rid of. There are certain people that can clear those types of belongings, or you said, sorry, I've lived in 49 states and done a lot, ready to be reincarnated. I respect that, Danny, and thank you for sharing that. Okay, so it's scary that it may get mad. Okay, someone told me that it's attached to the piano. So you're worried that the spirit might be angry with you that's attached to the piano if you get rid of it? Is that what you're saying, Amanda? I'm just waiting for you to type your answer. Well, okay. I would probably need more information and more history about that, but um, if it's attached to the piano, this is just my thoughts and feelings. If it's attached to the piano, it's depending on how the piano came into your possession. Working with someone that could possibly identify whom is attached to this piano. And if you think about it, now it doesn't mean this is right, but if you think about it, if it's attached to the piano, that's where its energy will stay. That it shouldn't necessarily be that it's going to get angry with you for getting rid of the piano. I don't know anything about this thing. You have a picture of it. Well, you're more than welcome to send it to me, like I had mentioned to, I believe it was Kaz, and I'll try and post it after this is posted on Facebook. I'll try and post your picture there. You sent a picture in Messenger. Okay, thank you. I might be able to see it on my laptop. Hang on. Sorry, guys, for jumping off here. My laptop's slow. That's why I don't like to use it for shows if I don't have to. Let me have a look. Amanda, we'll see if I might be able to see your pictures too, Kaz, if you sent them. So I don't normally do shows by myself, but I kept this one open because of it being July the 4th and with it being a holiday. So hang on, I'm going to go to Messenger. Okay, anytime you can open up here. Okay, we'll see if they'll open up to Messenger. Because I don't know if you're on my friends list or not, Amanda. If you're not, of course, it won, excuse me, to open Flywheel. That's only other reason. Okay, let me see. Okay, I don't see you on here, but I know you probably have sent it. Let me see if I can type your name in. Amanda. So you sent them directly to me? I'm sleeping under the blanket behind the stroller. Okay. I'm trying to see on here because I don't use my laptop very often. I could go on here on Facebook, but I don't want my phone to crash on me again. Let's see, chats. Message requests, that's where it might be. No, if you sent it to me, hon, I don't have it here on on this page on UPRN you sent it to? If you sent it there, if that's where you are, I'll be able to see it. Give me a second. Because I'm streaming to my Facebook page as well, UFO Paranormal. There we go. Okay, I should be able to see it in Messenger there, so give me a sec. I just have to find it on here. Sorry, guys, I'm not usually silent while I'm doing this. Okay, we'll go to the page. Give me the page. Thank you. Looking for messages on here, guys. Give me a sec. Inbox. There we go. Okay, Amanda, give me a second. We'll take a peek. No, I don't think I see. What page are you sending it from, Amanda? That might help me because I'm not seeing it. Joe, oh, you're on Joe Montaldo's. Okay, I'm on the wrong one. That's why. Okay, give me a sec. I went to our main YouTube channel. I have it. Okay, what's my Facebook name again? Kaz, I'll spell it for you. It's L as in lion. It's all one word. Orilei. It's written on the screen below the video if you're watching the video too. And then, so it's Lorilei, and then my last name is P as in Peter, O-T as in Tom, V as in Victor, I-N as in Nancy, Potvin. Okay, let me find Joe's page for you that you sent me here, Amanda. Sorry about that. Joe Montaldo. I'm trying to remember what his page is. Let's see if we can find his page. Maybe UFO Undercover. Is that the one you're on, Amanda? I don't have access to messages on that page, though, unfortunately. So I may not be able to see the pictures. That's the only problem. Unless you posted them on the page. We'll see. Because I'm live on here. Let me see if I can see. Yeah, no, I can't see it, hun, because the only problem is, okay, with the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, I have access to the messenger box, but this is the owner of the network, Joe Montaldo. This is his personal Facebook page, like his business page. So I can't go in his message inbox, unfortunately. Yeah. So Kaz just sent me a friend request. You can send me a friend request and you can send it. I'll spell the name again if you want. It's you can see it on screen too. If you look right at the bottom, I'm pointing to it. It'll say Lorilei Potvin, host of the Angel Rock. If you look up Lorilei Potvin, and I'll spell it for you again, it's it's all one word, the first name, Lorilei. And then my last name is Potvin. P as in Peter, O T as in Tom, VIN as in Nancy, Potvin. So if you send it to me, Kaz, I don't normally do this, but I will. I'm going to try and see if I didn't get your pictures. I'll have to wait. We're almost out of time, you guys. This goes by so quick when we have a chat like this. Way out, Waldo. Late again, as always. It's gone. The piano is clear. Did you clear it for her? Did you clear it for her, Manuel? If you did, I appreciate that. So Amanda, you'll have to see. Manuel just wrote in the comments. He said it's gone. The piano is clear. That's okay. Don't worry. If I'm not live right now, you can still send it to me, Amanda. If not, I'm here every Monday, anyways, live. I just don't. I usually have guests. I'm not usually like have a show sort of free form like this. So that's okay if you're late to Way Out Waldo, because what happens is the replays to all of our shows are carried wherever podcasts or talk radio are carried, including, I see your friend request, Amanda. I'll take care of that after the show. What I was going to say is our replays are carried wherever talk radio or podcasts are carried. So things like iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Spotify. Now I see your message. Give me a second here, Amanda. Anyway, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Podbean, anywhere you can think of, our archives are carried. So if you miss the show, you can always watch it again on YouTube. The replay will be up very shortly. Oh, hi, David. I knew that name, but I didn't know where. The giver of books. Yes, David sends me incredible books. So, David, you're just joining us late. We're talking about the paranormal. We've only got a few more minutes, but Amanda, since you've done that, and Kaz, I don't usually do this, but I will try and get your friend requests here. Okay, new message request from you. I want to see it. Okay, let's see your photo. I don't want to see your covered pictures. Send me not you. I'm talking to Messenger. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm having a good look at this. Okay, so where are you, Amanda? You said, um, give me a second. I'm going to go back on this. So I got your picture. I'm looking. I'm sleeping under the blanket behind the stroller. Okay, so what are we looking at that you're concerned where there's something? Now, I notice your face is a bit blurred out and it seems to be kind of misty behind you here, Amanda. Okay, yeah, I see you're laying in the bed. I'm just not sure what we're looking at here, like what you're referring to. Just for the future, so you know, that thing sitting up, that's not you? Holy crap, if that's not you. Wow, that's not you. Holy crap. With your permission, I'm going to post this underneath so people can see this when they're watching. Wow. Holy cow, I'm like speechless looking at this. I'm speechless. So I'm just like, holy crap. Wow. All kinds of things are going through my head right now. I'm not usually speechless. That I thought that was you sitting up in the bed till you just said you were sleeping. So like I said, I think Amanda's okay with me posting this. I will share this for you. Just in the future for you, hun, if you want to share pictures like this with people, like with the paranormal, feel free if you're able to circle it, because when you're like on a live show like this, I'll be able to, like, I can see something like that or somebody else will. Hey, Michelle Millions, welcome. Oh, you guys are all joining me now. And we've got, how many minutes have we got left? Probably, I might go a few minutes. I usually end 5 minutes before the hour, but I don't know. I don't think anybody else is doing a live show tonight. They're going to maybe doing replays. I don't want to say that though, because I haven't checked our booking. Let me check. Yeah, I think I may be the only one doing a live show tonight, with it being July the 4th and Independence Day in the US. But they'll still have a replay up of one of their amazing shows. So um, you'll definitely want to check it out, because the Horsefly Chronicles, again, actually, they may not be producing their show. I produce my own show, because I remember seeing a banner for the show tonight. So they will be live. They'll be right after me. So I want to go over into their time. They always have incredible guests and a great show. Julia and Phil Syracuse, as well as their own paranormal experience. They've got quite the story with the Horsefly Chronicles. So make sure you stay tuned for that tonight, definitely. And then there's Trish Moe. She's one of our newer hosts. She's up after the Horsefly Chronicles. So it's kind of like a whole night of the paranormal tonight. So you want to make sure you guys tune in and stay tuned in. So I didn't see your picture yet, Kaz, but I will. Like I said, if you've sent me pictures, if you can circle what we're looking for and give me a little bit of context. You sent a load of pictures. I don't know why it did not come up like Amanda's did, Cass. Let me check. My computer is so slow because, like I said, this picture, guys, I'm going to describe it for you and I will put it up. My battery's just about to go on me anyways, but the picture that Amanda sent, there's a bunch of mist, it looks like, behind her. And there's a stroller in the front and there's a bed, okay? And it looks like there's a person sitting up here. And then I realized that's not, I don't know what that is, because Amanda is laying down covered with the blankets. It's something up on the left there. So now we've got Manuel Lopez, who he says that he has done some clearing. Yes, I know. We didn't get into that tonight, David. Not much independence in the United States anymore. Well, try living in Canada. That's what I was talking about. There's lots to feel negative about and how we look at the world. But believe me, Canada, yeah, okay, but there's two E's you put there. I don't have two E's at the end of my name. It's just Lei. So I don't know who got that one, but I didn't, because Amanda's came up right away. And I feel so bad about that, Cass, because we only have a few minutes left. And then I'm going to have to be off of here because we're live on a network. So like I said, stay tuned for the Horsefly Chronicles, because I didn't think they were doing a show. And then I remember I saw the banner that Julia put up. So they're going to have a great guest for you guys tonight. So we didn't get to any readings either. We were too busy talking about paranormal. We'll have to do that time. I think I don't have a guest booked on my birthday, August 15th. Otherwise, I am booking already into September. I have incredible, amazing guests coming up for you guys from all over the world, all different aspects of the esoteric and the paranormal. So, yeah, that's right, Kaz. Like I said, I will check it afterwards. Give me a little bit of context about the pictures, and I'll be happy to post them. I'm going to have to wait till my phone charges up a little bit, but I will post them either under this replay or under my banner that I do up for the show so people can see it. But what I want to remind you guys is, if you ever want to book a reading with me, healing sessions. I also do mentoring sessions. Feel free to get a hold of me on facebook.com/ The Angel Rock, or you can always send me something under my main profile, which we talked about tonight. Also, if you got a show idea, maybe you got a guest idea, maybe you got some questions or pictures you want to share, please feel free to send them to me as well. But I have two groups on Facebook I would love for you all to join. The first one is Paranormal University for all things paranormal, like what we talked about tonight. You can share pictures on there. There are groups from all over the world and people in that group. I think there's just over 1,000. And then our sister group, the Angel Rocker Tribe, are for all things esoteric, spirituality based, power of the mind, power of positivity. For say you're newly into spirituality or trying to find out more about your gifts. I'm trying to go back to your name, honey. I can't see it now. I forget what your name is. Please forgive me. She was talking about that tonight. That's a perfect place for you to start. Now, we have almost 1,000 people in there from all over the world. I try to post learning things, not so much in Paranormal University as of late, but I do. But in the Angel Rocker Tribe, free opportunities, lots of anything from crystals to how to access your spirit guides, you name it. So I want to invite you all to please join me next Monday on the Angel Rock from 5 to 7 p.m. Central, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. I have a guest for you. I wish I could remember what their name is. I can't remember at the moment. Mark your calendars for July 18th. I have Tom Riley from Ireland coming. He has done quite a bit of extensive research about Oliver Cromwell. We're going to be talking about the paranormal in that castle and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I love you all so much. I am so grateful for you all being here and being part of the show tonight. I send you all so much love and light. And we'll see you next week, same time, same space. And good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be.